If your dog could talk, what do you think they'd ask you to stop doing? Would it be something big? Something cruel? Probably not. Dogs forgive almost everything. They don't hold grudges or count your mistakes. But deep inside that loyal heart, there's one thing they quietly wish we'd stop. Something so common, we hardly notice we're doing it. Imagine this. Your dog waits by the door, tail low, eyes watching as you leave again. Or maybe they flinch slightly when your voice gets sharp, even though they didn't understand why you were upset. They don't see your frustration as anger. They feel it as distance. They love you so deeply that even your silence feels heavy. This isn't about neglect or cruelty. It's about love that forgets to listen. We all want to be good owners, but sometimes we get lost in the rush of life, in our own moods, and we forget that our dogs feel every shift, every sigh, every raised tone. In this story, we'll uncover the one thing dogs truly wish we'd stop doing, not to make us feel guilty, but to help us understand the heart that beats beside us. Because love isn't about doing more for them. Sometimes it's about doing less of what hurts without meaning to. Dogs live in a world made of feelings, not words. They don't understand every command we speak, but they understand tone, movement, and energy. Your sighs, your voice, your posture, those are their language. They study your face the way we read books, searching for meaning in every look. To them, love sounds like calmness, and anger feels like distance. They communicate with small things, the tilt of their head, a paw placed gently on your knee, a glance that holds a question. When we ignore these gestures or misread them, a quiet gap starts to form. Dogs notice when we're distracted, when we rush past their excitement, or when we scold them without realizing they were only trying to please us. They don't understand later, or I'm busy. What they know is the warmth or coldness in your tone. When we raise our voice, they don't think, I made a mistake. They think, my person is upset, and I don't know why. That confusion lingers. It becomes a soft ache, one they can't express but always feel. The truth is, most of what hurts dogs emotionally isn't intentional. It's our misunderstanding, expecting them to think like us when they're built to feel instead. They mirror our moods, absorb our tension, and stay close even when our energy pushes them away. And that's where it begins, the one thing they wish we'd stop doing. It doesn't come from anger, but from the moments we stop listening to their silent language. Because to them, love isn't spoken, it's felt. And when we forget that, they feel it too. It happens to all of us. You come home after a long, exhausting day, and there it is, a chewed shoe, a torn pillow, or a puddle on the floor. You feel frustration rise in your chest, and before you can stop yourself, your voice gets sharp. You call their name, maybe point to the mess, maybe even shout. Your dog lowers their ears, tail tucked, eyes avoiding yours. You think they look guilty, but what they really feel is fear and confusion. Dogs live in the present moment. They can't connect the accident that happened hours ago to the scolding happening now. All they understand is that the person they love most suddenly feels angry and unsafe. In that instant, they don't learn not to chew or not to bark. They learn that love can change its tone without warning. You see, dogs don't misbehave out of defiance. They react out of emotion, boredom, anxiety, or loneliness. But when we punish without understanding, we break the very trust that makes them want to do better. The raised voice, the harsh stare, the tension, it doesn't teach them right from wrong. It teaches them to fear the one they trust. There's science behind this too. When a dog is yelled at or punished, their stress hormones spike. Their heartbeat races. Their mind shuts down, making learning impossible. They don't absorb lessons. They just freeze. And every time that happens, a small part of their confidence fades away. The truth is, your dog isn't asking for perfection. They're asking for patience. They want to understand, to try again, to please you. But they need calm guidance, not punishment. Because when your dog makes a mistake, they're not challenging you. They're asking for help. The one thing dogs wish we'd stop doing is scolding them for not being human, punishing them for mistakes they don't understand. All they really want is for you to teach with love, not fear. Dogs live to make us happy. Every tail wag, every excited jump, every quiet glance from across the room. It all comes from one simple hope, that we'll smile back. So when that joy is met with anger or disappointment, even for a moment, it shakes their world in a way we can't fully see. When we scold or punish without understanding, we don't just teach fear. We teach them to doubt their place in our hearts. A harsh tone, a pointed finger, even silence that lasts too long, it leaves an imprint. They start to move slower around us, ears low, avoiding eye contact, unsure of what they did wrong. They don't know they're misbehaving. They only know they made us upset. Inside, something gentle begins to fade. The wag of their tail grows hesitant. The spark of confidence dims. The love never disappears, but it becomes quieter, more cautious. It's heartbreaking, because all they ever wanted was connection, not correction. Dogs don't think in guilt or rebellion. They think in emotions, safety, trust, belonging. When those are shaken, they don't stop loving us. They just start loving us from a distance. And that's the saddest part. Watching a dog who once ran to you now pause, unsure if they're welcome. The wounds of misunderstanding aren't loud. They're silent, tucked behind soft eyes and slow steps, but they heal too. When love becomes gentle again, when the voice softens, when the hand that once scolded becomes the hand that comforts. Dogs don't learn from punishment. They learn from patience. They don't need harsh tones or guilt. They need calm guidance and understanding. When they make a mistake, they're not challenging your authority. They're simply navigating a world that doesn't speak their language. What they crave most isn't control. It's clarity. Instead of scolding, show them what to do. Redirect their energy. When they choose something they shouldn't, offer a toy. When they bark excessively, reward them for quiet moments. Dogs thrive on positive reinforcement because it builds confidence instead of fear. Every good boy or good girl tells them they did something right, and they'll try to repeat it. Gentle correction teaches responsibility through love. Harsh punishment teaches silence through fear. And silence is not obedience, it's sadness. Next time you feel frustration rising, pause. Take a breath. Remember that your dog is not disobedient. They're confused. A soft tone can teach more in one moment than shouting ever could. Your dog wants nothing more than to please you. They don't need perfection. They need your patience. When they see approval in your eyes, it becomes their reason to keep trying. And when they fail, what they need most is not your anger, but your reassurance that love is still there. Because to them, your voice is the sound of home. And every time you choose calm over anger, you make that home feel safe again. Dogs don't measure love in toys or treats. They measure it in moments. A few minutes of your full attention mean more to them than hours spent in the same room while you're distracted. They don't crave perfection or endless entertainment. They crave presence, your presence. When you sit beside them, when your hand rests gently on their fur, their breathing slows. their world feels steady again. You might think you're doing nothing, but to them, it's everything. That small act tells them, you're safe. You matter. It's easy to forget this in the noise of daily life. Messages, deadlines, screens, worries. But while you're caught up in your world, your dog is quietly waiting in theirs, glancing at you, hoping for a look, a word, a touch. They don't want to interrupt. They just want to exist near you and feel seen. When they nudge your hand or rest their head on your knee, it's not a demand. It's a whisper. Can I have a moment of you? And when you give it, even briefly, their heart fills in ways food or toys never could. So be there. Be still. Be present. Because one day, when you look back, it won't be the noise or the rush you'll remember. It'll be those quiet, shared moments when love didn't need words. The beautiful thing about dogs is that forgiveness lives at the center of their heart. No matter how many times we've raised our voice or turned away, they always find their way back to us. Their love doesn't hold grudges. It simply waits for the moment we remember how to be gentle again. And that's the miracle of rebuilding trust. It doesn't take perfection, just presence. When you start replacing anger with calm, something changes in your dog's eyes. At first, they may hesitate, unsure if it's safe, but slowly, with every soft word and patient moment, you'll see their confidence return. Their tail will wag a little sooner, their body will relax a little faster, and that quiet spark, the one that dimmed from fear, will start to glow again. It's never too late to change. Dogs don't remember your mistakes. They remember the moments you chose love instead. When you stay patient during their slip-ups, when you speak softly even in frustration, they begin to understand something profound, that your love is constant, not conditional. Each gentle moment repairs what harshness once cracked. Every calm correction builds a bridge where fear once stood. And one day, you'll notice your dog looking up at you, eyes steady, tail wagging, full of trust, not because you've been perfect, but because you've been kind. They'll never ask you to be flawless, only to be forgiving, just like they've always been with you. Dogs ask for so little from us, a kind voice, a steady hand, a bit of time. And in return, they give us everything: loyalty, laughter, comfort, and love that never fades. The one thing they wish we'd stop doing isn't complicated or cruel. It's simple. They wish we'd stop letting anger and impatience speak louder than love. They don't mean to disobey. They don't plan to frustrate us. They live moment to moment, guided only by trust and instinct. When we scold or ignore them, their world trembles, because to them, we are the world. But we can change that story. We can choose patience instead of punishment, understanding instead of irritation. We can promise to listen, not just to their barks, but to their silence. So the next time your dog looks up at you with those soft, unguarded eyes, remember, in that gaze lives their whole heart. Protect it, honor it, because in their world, you are love. And that's a responsibility far greater and far more beautiful than we often realize.